I've played this for a very long time. So, like I said before, right? Actually, I didn't explain for people viewing, recently from your place. So my layout is actually really interesting because, for one, um, I, my mobility is usually on number four for my index finger on the keyboard as an escape because your index finger is the fastest to react for the most part, right? So normally in non-season 27 theme, the dashing strike would be on number four or E or whatever, or E, I mean R, sorry, because it's number four. And so now for season 27 theme, uh, either for teleporting or dashing, aside from like necromancer, I have a necromancer like mobility on a different uh number. But anyway, because you're already moving your mouse as a directional equipment in real life, you might as well have your dashing strike on the right click so that you automatically move to where you move when you're already swinging your mouse to a certain spot that's potentially your escape spot or your next movement spot anyway, positionally speaking, where your cursor is, right? So you already have the intention to move, especially if you're like finding empty spaces or like dodging arcane beams either manually or dashing. You would already automatically have that instead of like double thinking or like working your brain synapses or whatever, that it kind of like, how you use your left brain with your right hand or whatever that theory is, all that, right? So you avoid that as a half a second or a split second reaction time kind of thing. And that's just one part of it. Um, the other part of it is that my wave of light is not in the left click. Even though left click suits right-handed players, that's fine. I've actually taught someone older um, uh, that tried Wave of Light on the left click and didn't enjoy it, especially on the bad maps. So if you get bad maps like plague tunnels that block your vision, and so on, holding that force standstill or like adding force standstill is mostly unnecessary, especially for Wave of Light casting itself because of this helmet. This helmet text is actually interesting. The fact that a lot of people think that you use force standstill, you're actually half aligning with this text. More so that people play the force standstill is aligning themselves with the Kiroshiro's blades um, power text, where you actually want to aim directly at what you're actually killing, so that you're actually gaining maximum bonus based on what you're trying to hit. So a lot of people think that they're actually utilizing the gaze text, right? When they're for standstill pixel aiming, they're actually pixel aiming for the Kiroshiro's blade instead. With the body aiming of for standstill by any means, it's actually the Kiroshiro's blade text, not this one. Because in town, if you test, I'm not holding shift or whatever your force standstill is, right? If I'm playing this way, this is playing quick cast because that's what they added into D2R, right? Diablo 2 Resurrected, the quick casting. So you no longer need to use the traditional, um, original or the archaic right click to activate your skills. I mean, you can still play Diablo 2 the way that you play old school way if you're already used to it anyways, but the newer way where they added the quick cast like in the beginning of D2R is that quick cast, look at in town. I can just press 3 anywhere I point my cursor. I'm not holding my force standstill. I mean, I wish I installed that overlay keyboard thing or whatnot to show that I'm not holding my force standstill. So this way, even the right click way, you don't need the force standstill for your wave of light. So you're actually using one button less, or half, or three-quarter less every single time in the rift. Now, where my Mystic Ally is, you do need to sometimes maybe do the force standstill, but most of the time, because you're already busy fighting anyways, you're likely to left click by accident, which can be a bad thing depending on the timing. But generally speaking, you still click for your spirit if you're running out of spirit, especially at a lower paragon. At a higher paragon and at the higher GR, you're gaining back enough from your crit hit chance and the alter bonus that your spirit is kind of like only fluctuating really little depending on like how many targets you're actually hitting and how fast you're killing them. So the faster you kill them, then you only gain a certain amount because you're not getting back enough individual critical hits. But if you're killing them slower, which is good because if you use Stricken, you actually kill a little slower that maintains this and it lightens the pressure or alleviates the pressure of the Mystic Ally. But anyway, the left click of Mystic Ally is actually slightly better in a sense that you don't have to use your force standstill like more than 60% of the time. Unless you're really pinpointing when you want your Mystic Ally to actually give you the timing, then you add the force standstill because it is on the left click. But offensively speaking, for Wave of Light, since it's not on the left click, you don't have to even play force standstill like at all. And on my button here, um, on my button setup here, 3 and 4 or E and R is basically your index finger. So if you're like fast reacting with your index finger, your rotation is really just 3-3-3-4, right? At least for the plant and detonate. It's 3-3-4, 3-3-4, 3-3-4-4, 3-3-4, whatever. So you're really just doing it's just one of your fingers to do two things. And when you're already playing in that sense, that is your priority focus in terms of making sure that you know when one hand needs to do exactly what. So if your mobility is also on your left hand, now I'm not trying to say that if you're already used to your gameplay, it's fine that you have it the way that you have it. But when you confuse yourself between two different things, mobility, escaping, whatever, for one hand while playing like either damage and escape, like both, they're two different things aside from the Oculus Ring positioning. So, yes, you're moving to the Oculus Ring to deal more damage, but that is your adjustment in itself as a mobility, like even in builds that are mobility. So, for example, what I mean by that is that since my right click is dashing strike, we know that in a Raymond Monk or since like this build, you're moving more often. It's almost like playing a strafe or spin to win. And spin to win is also right clicking strafe or right clicking whirlwind or whatever. So you already kind of acclimate into that right click mobility. So you're not actually like thinking it in the hand of the damage portion. So one hand plays damage. Of course, my left hand also plays Epiphany and Serenity. It's defensive, but it's your other fingers. Of course, if you've gotten some real life um, concerns yourself, then you have to switch up your map, your key mapping like this. Maybe it's different from mine, but in general, in this way, exactly know that if you're moving around, it's your archaic left click to move in the empty spaces, or right clicking where your cursor is already pointing that you intend to move there, and then you can immediately plant as well. So, hey, Laughing Gore. So you're actually moving, and then you can immediately plant without having to click for standstill. Because when you move, you're not necessarily using for standstill. So you're adding those in between hold and release. When you get an elite affix that is annoying, so let's say a frozen pulse, for example, you might react a little slower on the worst possible moment, meaning that yes, you have paragons, you can tank maybe one or two frozen pulse, but what if the third one, right? Or maybe there are more multiple elite affixes that start to accumulate on the ground and you can't see them. So that third reaction, right? When you're so busy already on the hero attack mode, like going ham on everything, your mind on the hold and release of the force standstill might have been affected on the third reaction timing for that split second. So me not needing to use force standstill for my wave of light at all means that I don't have to worry about that split second. Now, of course, I still get cheat death proc every now and then, but I also play majority a higher risk in the sense of my density. Now, what's worse for me, not just playing the monk, I play any class in general, I actually get hurt. I actually get hurt from one single monster or like one or two monsters more than like a lot of monsters. I actually play better when there's a lot of monsters because I expect myself to understand that I'm supposed to dodge them. Now, of course, if we say that, well, are you sure about that? Well, of course not. If there's like 15 Soul Lashers attacking me, Soul Lashers hurt. And so, of course, I'll get cheat death proc from 15 Soul Lashers, right? I'm not saying that I'm always really good at, 100% perfect play against 15 Soul Lashers, but what I'm saying is that I actually get hurt more often from one or two monsters individually because I don't expect to dodge those things because they're wasting my time focusing on that one or two monsters that don't matter to me, even though it does because it actually got me cheat death procs. But in the other sense is that this gameplay of skill bar, I don't need the force standstill affecting me uh for like 99% of the time. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, yeah. Have a good one, Carl. Hope that helped some people understand like my skill bar if they were listening or if you're listening or if you've caught up like half of it. But this is like the majority you can do is right click wave of light at minimum. If you're a right-handed player. I'm a left-handed person, but I still use right-handed mouse myself. So either way, even the right-click wave of light is fine. Um, it's just that the left-click wave of light with the force standstill, to me personally, it hurts when you have more and more elite affixes that normally affect you on multiple classes. Like, if Frozen Pulse is your weakness in the majority of builds, then the force standstill will affect you eventually because of the split second reaction time that you get against your worst elite affix that you play. And it's not just on the monk, it's on like the less strong builds as well. Like your reaction time matters. And so that's why I have such a interesting skill bar.